First tonight, committed to the constituency, one parliamentarian says he won't let the new boundary changes impact his work within his newly acquired constituency. Plus, the role of the University of the Bahamas in a changing Bahamas. The institution's president sharing his vision for student success and access. And later, it was an early morning for Cable Bahamas team members across the country as we hosted our annual Fun Run Walk and Push event. Our Danielle Miller was there for the heated competition. We've got the details for these stories and so much more as Our News Weekend starts now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Megan Shepard. Golden Isles Member of Parliament Darren Pickstock says his work ethic won't change anytime soon. This as the new boundary changes are expected to shift hundreds of voters from his constituency to another area. For years, Golden Isles has boasted over 7,000 voters, and now with the new changes, some of them will be marking their X in the newly created St. James. But Pickstock says he's committed to finishing what he started. Our Joshua Williams reports.
It's election season, which means things are heating up. And soon the country will have two new constituencies to vote in, St. James and Bimini and the Berry Islands. Part of the newly formed St. James seat cuts into parts of what is now the Golden Isles constituency. Its Member of Parliament, Darren Pickstock, weighs in on the new change.
Investigation was done by the Boundaries Committee, and that investigation resulted in, those polling divisions being moved from out of Golden Isles. I mean, these are people who supported me, and I am sad to see them go.
Pickstock won the seat in a by-election in November last year following the death of the area MP Vaughn Miller. He says months later, the work hasn't stopped.
I've developed relationships with them, and that will not change. Boundaries do not change minds. And so, but we are still going to win in Golden Isles because we are doing the work. I mean, if you're following my WhatsApp channel or following what I'm doing in Golden Isles, we are rolling out just really wonderful programs, and people are excited in Golden Isles.
Now, Pickstock was one of 15 candidates ratified this week at PLP headquarters for the upcoming general election. And while we know he probably doesn't know when an election will be called, reporters still pose the question to him.
Only one man and the Lord knows that, and that's the Prime Minister. And so I'm looking forward to hearing when that is and when it's ready. But whenever it's called, we will be ready.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Well, weeks after a United States strike on Venezuela, concern is continuing to mount for a Bahamian man who has been detained in the South American country for the last 4 years. The U.S. military launched strikes against Venezuela and captured its dictator, Nicolas Maduro, on January 3rd. Days later, the Bahamian government warned Bahamians not to travel to Venezuela. And while they're advising Bahamians to stay clear of the country, there's one Bahamian who remains there. Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell recently told reporters that his ministry has raised concerns through diplomatic channels regarding the safety and security of a Bahamian national who is currently being unlawfully detained in Venezuela. Bahamian pilot Oran Monroe has been in Venezuelan custody since 2021. Mitchell says the matter is now in the hands of the Bahamian ambassador to Venezuela.
The ambassador to Venezuela, Ambassador Hilton, her main task now is to get the release of that prisoner. Well, she has to use whatever diplomatic means there is to apply pressure for the Venezuelan government to release the individual. And so we're hoping that the persons who are in effective control of the country will do so.
Monroe was first reported missing in July 2021 after departing the Bahamas aboard a private aircraft. At the time, the Royal Bahamas Police Force issued a missing persons bulletin stating Monroe was last seen on July 24, 2021. Police later confirmed that the aircraft, which had been reported stolen, crashed in Venezuela after leaving Abaco. Authorities in Venezuela subsequently informed Bahamian officials that Monroe and a Colombian national were in custody after seeking medical treatment for injuries sustained in the crash. Police said the two men were being questioned in connection with an alleged drug trafficking investigation. However, Bahamian authorities said at the time they could not confirm whether drugs were found on the aircraft. Mitchell was asked if he's spoken to Monroe or his family since his arrest.
I've certainly not spoken to him, but in touch with his family member. So to say that we are working as assiduously as we can on this matter.
The University of the Bahamas is charting a new course for its future, focusing on student success, expanded access, and a stronger national impact. UB President Dr. Robert Blaine outlining this ambitious plan during his presentation at the Bahamas Business Outlook 2026. Dr. Blaine posing several questions to attendees. What does it look like to invest in ourselves and our children to inspire national impact? And what are the true possibilities that higher education can provide, not only for human development, but national development?
One of the things that we're doing right now is embarking on a new strategic planning process. This is really thinking about where are we going as an institution. This is such a dynamic and exciting time at the University of the Bahamas. First of all, we have record enrollment, the second highest enrollment in the history of the University of the Bahamas, and we only missed the record, thank you, only missed the record by 9 students. So this semester, I expect to be the record holder. We also are a new candidate for international accreditation. An incredible milestone for our institution and something that we're incredibly proud of. This is a part of thinking about who we want to be.
Dr. Blaine says UB is aiming to become a 50% residential campus within the next 4 years, a move he believes will help shape a more connected and engaged student community.
One of our goals in the next 4 years is to create a 50% residential campus. That is a very specific goal because part of education is trying to develop the whole student, and this holistic learning process happens as much outside the classroom as it does inside the classroom. So how do we facilitate that through a living learning experiences where students are living on campus so that they are engrossed, they are totally surrounded by this learning experience?
The UB president telling attendees that the institution must not only educate, but also respond directly to the country's changing social and economic needs, adding there needs to be more access to higher education across the country.
We have potential students in family islands all over the nation. Many of those places lack the access because you physically have to come to Nassau or to Freeport in order to be able to engage in this learning environment. And so expanding to now having fully online degree programs and then thinking about what resources and accesses are needed in those communities to make sure that those students can have a fully engaged learning environment and never have to leave their family island.
During his presentation, he also stressed that UB must listen more closely to communities, shaping academic programs that build intellect, character, and a commitment to service.
We know the history of brain drain and what that has meant to our nation. But when we think about how do we embed in students a sense of civic responsibility and giving back, and understanding that part of their responsibility as an educated learner in our society is to be able to give back to the country that gave you those opportunities, right? The other thing is that we are an incubator for ideas for scaling. It is a test bed. The university is an incredible petri dish where we can test new ideas and new concepts and use them in order to be able to find things that work and then think about how do you scale them in order to be able to create national impact.
Well, more than 150 million people in the United States are bracing for a brutal winter storm. The central and east coast of the U.S. is expected to be impacted by heavy snow and freezing rain this weekend, with ground, sea, and air transportation in the affected states at a standstill. Will the tourism industry here at home feel the frostbite? Our Danielle Miller picks up the story from here.
More than 150 million people that live on the central and east coast of the United States are experiencing frigid temperatures. Meteorologists predict that those areas could have up to 10 inches of snow this weekend, triggering states like Texas to declare a state of emergency. Major airlines like Delta, American Airlines, and JetBlue issuing storm advisories, informing customers that bookings can be rescheduled without cost, and refunds on airline tickets are available. The storm not just impacts the millions of residents that live in those areas, but the thousands, including Bahamians, that are currently visiting the area and surrounding states. A natural disaster is an event that cannot be controlled and in some instances gives you minimum time to prepare or return home. According to travel expert Sandy Campbell, this is why she says it's best for travelers to always be prepared for the unpredictable. With 15 years in the maritime industry and a total of 65 countries stamped in her passport, she shares 3 essentials every traveler should have. The first, travel insurance.
That is so important because a lot of times when things happen, that is our only recourse, is to put in a claim with the travel insurance company. And the thing is, though, with travel insurance, is just because you have travel insurance, it doesn't always mean that every single thing is covered that could possibly go wrong.
That led to her next tip. Secure emergency cash and multiple credit or debit cards.
I always bring at least 2 or 3 because I have, like I said, I've been in situations where I've had multiple cards decline, even though I know that there's money on them. And even though I would have advised my bank that I was traveling to that country, for some reason, the tech isn't always teching.
Last, but certainly not least, a carry-on bag with all of your essentials, including medication. She says, in the midst of travel chaos, you can encounter extremely long delays or even misplaced luggage.
The priority is moving people from one destination to the next. And then the thought process is, okay, we'll deal with the bags after the fact. To get people to their destination, to make them as comfortable as possible and to spare them from having to spend so much extra money. So the priority is always going to be the movement of people. And so that is why the bags usually end up coming on a later flight, or a lot of times you have to actually track your bag down.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Thanks so much, Danielle. When Our News Weekend comes back from the break, it's a story of pain and patience. Digital reporter Ricky Barry shares how 2 car crashes changed the life of a young woman and how you can help. That's coming up when Our News Weekend returns.
What do you get when you're searching for the whole truth?
Less than 24 hours after the body of 12-year-old was discovered on a track road on Faith Avenue, police say
You get the most comprehensive half hour of news.
Breach of the party's constitution.
Behind me is what remains of the Victoria Court apartment complex.
Our News at 7 brings you that truth in all of the day's top stories, sports, and our view of the world. Join me, Candino Knowles, weeknights for Our News at 7. Stay with the team you already trust.
Two car crashes and one life changed forever. Tonight, a young woman speaks out about living with chronic pain and the desperate wait for medical care. Digital reporter Ricky Barry has her story and how you can help.
This is just part of the daily struggle Dalude Luima faces after 2 tragic traffic accidents left her nearly immobilized and in debilitating chronic pain. Her neurological complications began in 2018 after she was hit by a car as she was walking across Carmichael Road.
I could hear the screeching, and the Jeep, it actually hit me. My second accident happened in 2023. Where a next vehicle, a Jeep, came onto my lane and was wrongfully hit me. And as a result, I have been battling ongoing nerve issues.
She says she's now unable to work, unable to drive, and barely able to walk due to the pain. Its effects on her life are just too much.
The pain is excruciating. The pain feels as if that I'm in labor. That's the pain I am feeling constantly. My waist, my spine, my back. I'm unable to work and having to be dependent on everyone. Hey, I need help with going to the restroom. I need help with this. I need help with that. I'm an older sibling. My mom passed away in 2024, and I have younger siblings looking up to me. And it's a bit sad.
She's now seeking help from abroad from the Cleveland Clinic's pain management and neurology departments in an effort to find some form of relief and reclaim her life.
I have an appointment for neurology abroad, not abroad, but locally here at PMH, and it's all the way in June 2026. I cannot wait that long because I'm no longer able to drive. I'm unable to care for myself. I am heavily dependent on my walker and other persons' assistance.
Dalut is now seeking answers for her condition, a diagnosis, a treatment. But she says neurology appointments in New Providence are few and very far apart.
I'll finally be able to finish my semester, walk the stage. I guess I would have to learn how to walk a third time again. But I know it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be great. Whether I get the answers I'm hoping for or not, at least I've tried. I've given it all I've got.
If you'd like to help Dalut receive treatment for her neurological condition, you can donate to her GoFundMe. Just search Help Dalut Access Urgent Neurological Care. Reporting for Our News, I'm Ricky Barry.
Thanks so much for that, Ricky. Still to come on Our News Weekend, it was sneakers on the ground this morning as the Cable Bahamas team hit Goodmans Bay for our annual Fun Run Walk and Push. Our Danielle Miller has the details, but first...
The Mighty Mingos hit the court in the north and our elite swimmers took to the pool for some tough international competition. On Our Sports Weekend, up next.
From 2017, one show has set the standard for current affairs in the Bahamas, and that's On the Record, one of the longest running current affairs shows on our TV. We've been the place where newsmakers come to talk. We've sat down with leaders in government, industry leaders, cultural icons, and international experts. From breaking news to in-depth analysis, our conversation sets the tone for the nation. We've tackled the biggest issues on the planet, held leaders accountable, and given voice to the people. From politics to culture, business to environment, no topic is off limits. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. and again on Sunday at 8 p.m. Catch us streaming live on Facebook or catch up with your favorite episode on our YouTube channel. 9 seasons strong, and we're just getting started. This is On the Record.
Good evening, welcome to Our Sports Weekend. I'm Tage Adderley. The UB Mingos basketball squad took their show on the road this weekend. They played a game in Grand Bahama, and here's how they did. The Mingos are flying high in the second city, notching a 105-65 win over the Connect Shipping Jets last night. They started off the game en fuego, finishing the first quarter with a 32-9 lead. They never looked back, finishing the first half up 50-29 en route to Friday's 40-point blowout. Terrence Higgs was the high man with 24 points, and here's what he had to say.
Well, I like to say offense comes from defense. Once we play good defense, the offense will flow smoothly. So that's what we was getting into tonight. It was more so teamwork, everybody being on one accord, because we added a few pieces to our team. We wanted to see how they gel together, and it worked out nicely in our favor. The message we wanted to send that the Mingos to compete, seeing that the UB Mingos lost last year when they came to Freeport, we wanted to redeem the whole team.
Now they're wrapping up their showcase right now, playing the Connect Shipping Jets again at the St. George's Gymnasium. The showcase is part of a larger recruiting effort on the island, so if you or someone you know is in Grand Bahama and they want to excel in the court and in the classroom, UB is a great option for them. On to the pool. The Azura Winter LCM Open takes place in Florida every January, featuring top swim talent from all around the region. A cohort of Bahamians put up an impressive performance last week. Our Sasha Lightburn was there, and she has this report.
2 clubs represented the Bahamas last weekend at the 2026 Azura Winter Open LCM Invitational in Fort Lauderdale. Mako Aquatics and Alpha Aquatics both had swimmers at the meet, where Mako and Alpha placed 2nd and 6th respectively. 29 teams from countries like the Bahamas, Barbados, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Jamaica, and teams from throughout Florida participated. Mako head coach Trevano McPhee shared why it was so important to have his swimmers participate at this point in the season.
I'm just coming off the Christmas break. The kids were looking forward to this meet, something to train for. It's a meet that's stapled on our calendar every year. And we really look forward to coming into it. The kids are rewarded by traveling, being able to, travel to meet international meet, race other competitors, and again, get ready for February, March, leading up to our Carifta trials. So this is good preparation for that. I really find over the past year that some of the swimmers who perform at this meet, they really do a good job in February, March. It really sets them up well to swim fast.
Alpha Aquatics head coach Latahara Forbes spoke about the performance of her swimmers.
We're looking good. We prepared over the Christmas break. It was a bit tough, with the weather, but they're looking really good. We're swimming some fast times. The kids are excited and we're happy to be here.
Now, the first local meet of the year, Bahamas Aquatics New Year kickoff swim meet, is currently underway at the Betty Kelly Kenning Aquatic Center. Carifta trials are expected to be held March 6th and March 7th. Reporting for our sports, I'm Sasha Lightborn.
And as the swim season heats up, we'll have the best coverage right here on our newscast and on our social media pages, so stay locked in. That is a wrap for sports this evening. For our Sports Weekend, I'm Tage Adderley. I'll see you again tomorrow night.
All right, thanks, Tage. On the other side of this break, while our friends in the north brace for frigid temperatures, meteorologist Ian McKinsey tells us what we can expect here at home. The details right after this break. Stick with us.
What do you get when you're searching for the whole truth?
Less than 24 hours after the body of 12-year-old was discovered on a track road on Faith Avenue, police say they...
You get the most comprehensive half hour of news.
Breach of the party's constitution.
Behind me is what remains of the Victoria Court apartment complex.
Our News at 7 brings you that truth in all of the day's top stories, sports, and our view of the world. Join me, Kendino Knowles, weeknights for Our News at 7. Stay with the team you already trust.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Our News. Thanks so much for sticking with us. Taking a look outside our studios right now, we have clear skies with a temperature of 75, feels like at 81, winds from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Temperature across the country at this time, we have 72 in Freeport, 71 in Marsh Harbor, 76 in Allenstown, 75 in Nicholstown, the capital, 77 in Governor's Harbor, 74 in Great Harbor Key. Central Bahamas, 76s in Camps Bay as well as Arthurstown, Cat Island, 77s in Black Point, Georgetown, and Coburn Towns in Salvador, a pair of 78s in Port Nelson and Deadman's Key, Long Island. Southeast Bahamas, we have a trio of 78s in Duncantown, Delectable Bay, and Abrahams Bay, Mayaguana, 79s in Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, and Providenciales, Turks and Caicos, 80 in Matthewtown in Nagua. Satellite and radar composite at this time. We have a dome of high pressure across our area. This is suppressing any rainfall activity, comfortable, stable conditions. However, this high pressure system should begin to retreat eastward sometime tomorrow, all courtesy of a potent, very, very potent cold front that should push through our area sometime late Sunday into Monday and through Tuesday, bringing cooler temperatures in its wake. Taking a look now at our boating forecast for the Northwest Bahamas, there is a caution in place primarily due to those swells. Winds will be east to southeast 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4, but up to 6 feet offshore, mainly along the eastern shorelines. And those swells, high tide at 12:01 a.m. tomorrow morning, low tide at 6:20 a.m. tomorrow morning. Central and southeast Bahamas, also a caution in place and a high risk of rip currents for you swimmers. Winds easterly 15 to 20 knots, seas will be running 4 to 7 feet over the ocean in those easterly swells. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your extended forecast, as I said, that front should be pushing through our area sometime late Monday into Tuesday. Behind it, we expect just comfortable, but very cool conditions. Those high temperatures will be struggling to get out of the 70s, folks. Those low temperatures will be in the low 60s and in the upper 50s. And then at the end of the week, we expect a reinforcing cold front to push through our area. That should continue this cool streak throughout the week. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, productive night, everyone.
Thanks, Ian. Well, it's a company event that challenges endurance and fitness, all while adding a little enjoyment. This morning, the Cable Bahamas group of companies held our annual Fun, Run, Walk, and Push event. Dozens of employees participated in the national event, some seeking to be named champions in their respective categories, while others came out to defend their title. Our Danielle Miller was there.
From Abaco to South Andros and Grand Bahama, employees of Cable Bahamas' group of companies woke up at the crack of dawn to take part in the company's annual Fun, Run, Walk, and Push event. Here in New Providence, team members and their families gathered on Goodman's Bay to participate in the 5K run or walk and the 10K run or walk. Filled with competitive enthusiasm, our Chief Alive Officer, John Gomez, led the way in trash talk.
Without a doubt, I'll be first. Hands down.
At the lick of a cowbell, the runners and walkers were off. Our studio and OB supervisor, Nathaniel Conliffe, and master control supervisor, Patrick Major, both confident in their ability to win.
Oh man, listen, I'm coming first, even though I'm in the back. They only stop to talk to you guys.
It doesn't matter how you start.
Well, I can tell you what, it's about how you feel with the reach. The party, let's go. You ready? Back, man, let's go. Yeah, you gotta get to the front.
In the end, Conliffe nor Major placed in their category. But customer experience team member Deandra Hall was one of the participants that came out victorious in her category. Running an impressive 5K this morning, she told me winning this year's race was personal, as she's placed second several times in the past.
For the past 2 years, the lady who came second, she always won. So this year, I train a little bit harder. I say, yeah, I gotta do this year.
And that lady she's referring to is our digital manager, Ricky Barry. This year, Ricky placed second in the 5K run.
You know what? I ain't even got nothing to say. I get beat. We come in together. We hit the lawn together. And mind you, I kick, I say I can sprint to the end. Ain't nothing move. And she gone ahead of me. I say, you know what? That girl deserve it. But it ended well. I did my best and I feel good.
2 years straight.
2 years straight.
And now third year second.
And now third year second. But next year, I coming back to defend my championship. And I can take it easy.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Thanks, Danielle. And with that, we thank you for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepard. Have a safe and wonderful evening. Hey guys, Megan Shepard here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.